Welcome to Victoria Law TV. Today we are going to be talking about dealing with chronic pain that sometimes accompanies a serious injury. My guest is personal injury lawyer Henry Carus, and he is going to talk with us about this topic. So Henry, thanks for being here today.
My pleasure.
Henry, what types of injuries tend to cause chronic, unrelenting pain?
Look, chronic pain, I think we better start with an understanding of what that expression can mean. I'm going to use that expression to reflect what is commonly seen by medical practitioners as an abnormal response to a physical injury. Now, the use of the word abnormal should not be a concern because it actually occurs quite regularly. But what's happened is the body has responded to an ongoing pain from one part of the body and no longer is able to manage its senses or its pain senses throughout the rest of the body. So the person is feeling pain all over their body, starting from the original physical injury. Once you understand that it is an abnormal response, then any injury can actually lead to the chronic pain. You can have it from a shoulder injury, you can have it from a back injury, you can have it from a hip injury. It's where the body is no longer able to manage the original pain. In my experience, though, a lot of people with chronic pain start with a back injury, usually a lower back injury.
And what alternatives do doctors use now other than just medication?
Well, it's funny about that because for a while there, they loved the idea of possibly going in and operating. If they can find any pathology, for instance, a bulging disc impacting on a nerve coming out of your spine, they'll think, well, let's see if we can actually change that by surgery. But over the last 5 to 10 years, that option has been fading away as they realize that these kind of surgeries for people with chronic pain don't work. They're not really benefiting the person. Medication, yes. Then there for a while there was a good fad, and I'm not sure it's so strong these days, of actually inserting into people what's called as a spinal cord stimulator, which tries to break up that pain signal from the back to the brain, and tries to break the signal long enough so that people can start to develop a different pattern of response to the pain, and hopefully getting out of that loop of chronic pain. That has or has not been successful with some people. So they implant it, doesn't work, they take it out. Medication, yes, but unfortunately medication over the long run has many difficulties, including the destructive parts to your internal digestive system, and also the people getting actually hooked on the medication where it no longer provides the same level of relief where it started, and they have to constantly increase it. So medication becomes a problem. What is occurring now, and finally getting to your answer, is we're looking for alternatives that are outside of the quick fix. We're looking for alternatives outside of the surgery, the insertion of a device, the fast pain relief. We're looking at things like meditation, stress relief, alternative types of health care like acupuncture, Chinese medicine. We're looking for alternatives to help the person learn to work with their pain instead of just trying to knock the pain off.
And based on your observation and experience, how effective are these alternatives?
I think they're wonderful. Within the Chinese community, which I deal quite regularly, that's normal. They engage in these practices on a regular basis, and they find great relief from them, and they can manage their pain better. The Western community is coming to learn them. They're actually coming to understand the great benefits of having meditation, reducing their stress, going out and just taking Chinese herbs in order to reduce some of the effects of their pain cycle, getting acupuncture, which is again another way to address the pain signals. They're learning it, and as they become to trust it and accept it, I think we'll have great benefits within our medical model that we have here in Australia.
Very interesting. Henry, what is the typical long-term picture for someone with chronic pain?
Unless they can find alternatives to the medication world, it's quite sad. The ongoing loop of pain, disability, medication, it really destroys the quality of their life. It's such to the point that I know quite a few people who are in that loop who lose the ability to have ongoing close relationships. Marriages break down, relationships break down. Families walk away from them because they become so unfriendly, because they've lost the ability to be human. The pain is overwhelming. So if they get a chance to actually find relief in some of these alternative forms of treatment, their life can be restored to some extent.
And how can a lawyer be helpful in these types of injuries that can lead to chronic and sometimes lifelong pain?
The difficulty that we have within our compensation model is that it has been dominated for a long time by Western medical thought that if they can't actually identify the clear cause of your injury, for instance, I can see the disc bulge, I can see something wrong with your shoulder, they wanted to dismiss it. They wanted to say to you, oh, the pain's all in the person's head, which is quite humorous because that's exactly where is the pain all the time, in your head. And instead of actually coming to a person's aid, they were dismissing these people. When over time the medical models have accepted it, and now lawyers are able to bring people who have chronic pain into the compensation model with appropriate support, legal and medical support, so they can get their injuries recognized, they can get the consequences accepted, and they can get the compensation they deserve.
Well, it sounds like progress is being made in the treatment of chronic pain.
Absolutely. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, if someone came into my office and said, I've been diagnosed with chronic pain, I would be really struggling as to how I'm going to get a judge in the county court to be able to accept that that is a real serious injury. Nowadays, it's not difficult. The shift is happening and will continue to happen.
Well, that's good news. Henry, if someone has specific questions, how can they reach your office?
We're open all the time in many ways. So we've got a website. It can be reached 24 hours, 7 days a week. Our office is always available. We like to think of ourselves as there to assist at any time.
Henry, thank you so much for your time today.
My pleasure. Take care.
Until next time, this is Dee Lynham for Victoria Law TV.